Hey everybody, looking at another week of D1A Rugby. Thanks to CRAA D1A for permission to use the footage, and some interesting games this week, maybe more than I kind of expected. Let's start it off with UC Santa Barbara against Cal State Long Beach, and this one's just sort of, Santa Barbara working through the phases, and then Finton Dignam pops a really nice little, nicely weighted kick over on the left side, and flanker Henry Minturn is actually on the outside there, and he does a real nice job gathering that in and scoring. Just good open field play, and I think that was one of the things that was working really well for Santa Barbara, their skill level and execution, especially when they got in close. And they would win ball with their forwards and then send it out wide, and they would score a lot of times out of that. And then Long Beach did get some points on the board, and pressing near the end, trying to get a few more, maybe inch a little bit closer. Just when you think things are going to progress, Marcus Nguyen comes in, steps in, intercepts that pass, and goes a distance for UC Santa Barbara. So a good win for the Gauchos, and they're thinking about that Challenge Cup, I think, and a good weekend for them. UC Santa Cruz against Sacramento State. Now, this was a really interesting one because Sacramento State is a bit on the up and gotten their first ever D1A win the week before. Santa Cruz definitely thinking about pressing up there in that California Conference. The weather, have a look at the weather. Yikes. There's a shot of a little bit later in the day when the camera couldn't pick up anything going on. I was looking for that third try from the banana slugs. Couldn't get it on because of the fog, and the robot that was filming the game got very confused. Anyway, one of the issues here was that Sac State did have their scoring opportunities and didn't convert. They lost 17-0 to Santa Cruz. And some of it was mistakes, some of it maybe bad luck, some of it good defense from Santa Cruz in their own 22. Also decision making, and here they had really a 3-on-2. Did they need to kick it through? No. But have a look at it again, and you'll see that fullback Bodie Dallas for UC Santa Cruz anticipates it actually very well and defends it. So that's kind of the day the Hornets had here in the Invertebrate Cup. Banana Slugs against Hornets. And there Santa Cruz gets themselves down near the line, consolidates really nicely, and then just spins it wide. And you see there, I think patience is so important in terms of working in the red zone. Whether you go with your forwards or you go with your backs, doesn't matter. You got to be patient, and we saw an example of a little bit of impatience for Sac State and better patience from UCSC. And what do? They just run it through the hands, and then when the player sees a wider gap because people are worrying about the players on the outside, he just takes it and scores. I mean, that's kind of how it happens sometimes. So 17-0 there. Santa Cruz feeling pretty good about that. Again, keep an eye out for Cal Poly. This video is brought to you by Next Phase Rugby, which is an app that allows high school rugby players to connect with college rugby programs around the country. Those programs can be school supported, club, all kinds of different ones. 450 are already on the app, and thousands of collegiate hopefuls are also on the app. Download the app if you're a college, or if you are a high school player looking for a college, go to nextphaserugby.com. There's a discount code for the premium level for high school players at the bottom of the screen, and good luck with your college search. It's also brought to you by USA Rugby Foundation, which is an organization that supports grassroots rugby around the country, and your donation can help build this great game of ours. Also brought to you by Irish Rugby Tours. Touring is a great way to expose your players to the global nature of rugby. Go to Irish Rugby Tours. They don't just do Ireland. They do all kinds of different countries: Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK. That's just a smattering of what they can do for you. Go to irishrugbytours.com. And this video is also brought to you by Panther Rugby Academy, providing elite playing and training opportunities for players throughout the South and a more extended version of the South. Panther Rugby Academy, check them out. And I also want to thank a new kit provider, which is 8x8 Sports. You can't see their logo on this shirt, although you can see it on others, but there's the back of the same shirt because I have more than one. And several other great kit. And we'll be having merchandise available very soon as well, so I'm excited about that. Thanks to 8x8 Sports. It's 8x8 sports.com. So now we go to UCLA at Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon's struggling to find wins, and it's a young team and they're developing, but I think they showed in this game that they have the ability to score tries and do some interesting things. And this is a really nice another kick chase kind of try to have a look at. Set move right off the line out, kick wide, have two chasers, one a little bit infield, about 12 meters or so, and one near the sideline. Really nice finish, good concentration, all of that pretty top notch. UCLA, remember we talked about their maul being very effective. Also in terms of just using their forward, here's a maul where they set up the maul through the quick tap. And I think that too often when teams tap the ball, they just hand it to a forward who just barrels through. And instead here, what you'll see is just it's a tap move. Yes, it is. But it's also immediately after contact is made, they drive in the rest of their forwards and they finish it off, essentially setting up a maul. What they did was eliminate the middleman, the whole kick to line out and win the line out part, and just instead tapped it and gave it to somebody who can reliably set up a maul. Eventually a good win for UCLA. This is just a really nice sequence of play for them to get them through the phases. Good work from everybody involved, and you love to see a team try where they're winning ball, but then they're thinking about going wide. They're setting up their pods quickly, so everybody's sort of engaged and mentally on top of it, and eventually just a lovely couple of inside balls and misdirections that get them close to the line, inside the 22. And then once you stretch them out, use your big man a couple of times, and if they're a bit slow to reset, yeah, you know what? Some of your big guys can go on over untouched. So 50 points for UCLA, looking very good so far this year. Back to talking about the weather. So Arizona went at Cal, was at Cal in Berkeley, and you've got to, those of you who live in rainy areas or have lived in rainy areas like me, you kind of have to laugh a little bit at these poor Californians and Arizonans dealing with it. They just look so sad and bedraggled in the wet. Anyway, really good try here from Cal. And what I want you to watch, in fact, is Solomon Williams. So we're working with 8x8 Sports, right? 8x8 Sports to help pick players of the week, players of the month. Solomon Williams, player of the month for January. February 1st kind of counted as January as well. It was like January 32nd. But have a look at how Williams handles all of this, because he's a savvy player. He's also just a hard worker. So, they win scrum ball. It's not the greatest ball in the world. He quickly gets that ball out to players, and then immediately you see him communicating, working with everyone to see what needs to be done. They haven't really quite set that ruck. He's not happy with it, so he just goes and sets the ruck, and then it's another player picks it up and goes, and then there's another player. He's directed by Williams to feed that pod, and then Williams then gets back into the halfback position, picks it up, and there is a gap. It's not perfect setting for Arizona. He just takes that gap, and he's very good at that. Scored a couple of tries for the Bears in a shutout over Arizona. Here's another try for the Bears. This one, I just wanted to point it out. And I'm not going to worry about ref calls or whatever. It was just, for the most part, Arizona didn't like this one. They thought it was obstruction. This is one of those difficult things that we're seeing in the game in general, at many levels, running behind a player. When is it obstruction? When is it not? That seemed a little obstruction-y to me, but it's a gray area because we're allowing it a little bit, and so then it is bang judgment on refs, and that's very, very difficult to ask them to do that, usually in an aspect of play that's going very quickly. One more try from Cal, and this is a good line-out steal, and immediately gathered. Go straight up, straight forward, let's reset that ruck immediately, just good, smart play, running low. Ball gets bobbled around a little bit, and it lands in the hands of Dan Paga, who makes just such a great run. What was that, about 20, 25 meters, and immediately support is there. Williams again picks it up, and a big wide pass. The kick is out there, and then look at this. Superb work from Threlkel to pop the inside pass. Great team try, great turnover try, just sort of fun. I think the announcers called it champagne rugby. I don't disagree with that. So that was sort of your week in D1A. I think Cal, I've moved them up to number one. They've made a bit of a sound this week, taking a team that beat. So really, this is why we went to number one for Cal, was that Life, who could be number one because they beat Navy, but they also lost a game. So we had them at number two, but they could be number one, right? Life or Navy. Life beat St. Mary's by 2. Then St. Mary's beat Arizona by 2. And then Arizona, admittedly, on the road, yeah, I get it, right? Beaten by Cal 46-0. That seems to me, when you just judge common opponents and the links between West Coast and East Coast, and it's a tenuous link, but we do have one, gonna have to put Cal at number one. So that's what we've done this week. Well, we're high on UCLA this year, and so UCLA gets to visit Cal this week. So I'm sure they're hoping for better weather, but if it's raining, I can just point and laugh at them, all those Californians once again. So UCLA at Cal, that's going to be an important one. We'll see what UCLA can do there. Cal Poly at UC Santa Cruz. I think that is the battle for second in the California Conference behind St. Mary's. So I think that's an important one to keep an eye on. And then the eastern part of the country jumps in with Lindenwood at Mount St. Mary's. Now, you'll remember from the CRA Fall Classic that Mount St. Mary's showed themselves to be quite the useful side, played extremely well. So that's going to be a huge game, I think. And Lindenwood, I mean, the weather's been what the weather has been. So difficult to get outside, difficult to get yourself prepared. So if they can get that game in, that'll be nice. But I think an important first step for Lindenwood, who is thinking about very big honors this year. And Mount St. Mary's, they're improving significantly. So that's a big game on the eastern side of the country. We haven't mentioned St. Mary's much. They're going to host Santa Clara, their favorite in that game. We haven't mentioned Navy or Life much. Life plays Lindenwood a week later. Navy is getting involved soon. We will start to see some East-West crossovers. That'll be very interesting. Remember, we've got a round of 16 to decide and still 2 months to figure that out. And then we have a new Challenge Cup and 2 months to figure that out. So we will see you next time. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our Patreon patrons. And we're starting a new thing, giving a little bit more Patreon content. So I'm already getting notes saying what I have to pay to see it. But it's really just a reward for our patrons who have been so supportive of Goff Rugby Report. Gas ain't cheap. So thanks a lot.